Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Inside the Game with Coach Jim and Coach John. Going to be a great show tonight. We've got Kenniel Martin, Norman James, and Dushawne Simpson, all from Hartford, and great representatives of the Jamaican community in Hartford. Kenniel played at University of Hartford. He was a star midfielder there. I had the pleasure of coaching Kenniel for a couple of years before Hartford showed me the door. And he went on to be a professional player in Finland and Turkey, and played in the corner league on some great teams, and has been involved in the community. And 2 years ago, they started Hartford Lions Football Club, and started a women's league as well, I believe. So, Kenniel, thanks a lot for coming on. Welcome.
Thank you, Coach Evans. Thank you guys for having us. Again, my name is Kenniel Martin. I'm the founder and president of Hartford Lions Soccer Academy. It's a nonprofit soccer organization that pretty much caters to the kids in the greater Hartford community. And like Coach Evans mentioned earlier, we also have a women's league, and that league is called the Lioness League.
Thanks, Kenniel. We'll get back to all that in a minute. And I'm also going to introduce Norman James, who I remember Norman as a player, and always hoped I could get him to come to University of Hartford, but it worked out. Worked out for him just fine.
I'm grateful for
player
that.
on the corner, and played in the first Martin Luther King teams, and played at Weaver, then at Hartford Public, and went on to be a star player at Salem State, and has made his life up that way from then on. Norman, thanks a lot for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Jim. Hi, John.
And I want to introduce Dushawne Simpson. I had the pleasure of coaching against Dushawne in the fall of 1990. Dushawne was on the Avon High School team as a senior. That was the number 2 ranked national high school team for their size in the country. Dushawne played for Oakwood Soccer Club in the mid 80s and late 80s. He was an all-state player when he left Avon High School, and was recruited by Southern Connecticut State University. I think he stayed there for 1 season maybe, and then transferred to Salem State. So he was a teammate of Norman at Salem State for the rest of his college career. He played professionally on the New Hampshire Phantoms, the Connecticut Wolves, the Boston Bulldogs, and for a Series C team in Italy called US Avellino. And maybe we'll hear more about that as the show goes on. He also coaches the Pingree School girls team, starting in 2011, and they won back-to-back New England championships in 2013, 2014, and then repeated as New England champions again in 2016. And he's affiliated with New England Football Club, which these guys will talk more about, I guess. So thank you, Dushawne. Thanks.
Great to see you, Coach. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll start, Jim, then. Dushawne, since you were such a talented player as a very young player, and I know you guys had a good environment playing against each other and with each other in that corner league area of Hartford. What would you say to young players now, like very young players, if they have aspirations to try to play in college, say, or anything beyond that? What kind of advice would you give them based upon your experiences growing up, or what you've seen as a coach in your later life?
I guess biggest thing, I think a lot of the guys on this call will agree with this one, is to set goals for yourself. You know, a lot of us guys just grew up just playing the game, having fun, but really didn't set goals for ourselves. So setting goals for yourself, know what you want to do with the game, give yourself a good opportunity to be successful, and then just be real passionate about what you're doing. So we had the privilege of playing amongst a lot of great players who love the game, were passionate about what they're doing, and I think that's probably one of the biggest things is just set goals, be passionate, go for it, be driven.
Sounds good. Yeah, thank you. I'm sure we'll get back to some of that. Yeah.
Thanks, Doc. Kenniel, you're muted, so unmute. There you go. How about you? And listen, guys, don't worry if you repeat the answers because there's no secrets, are there?
No.
Obviously, goal setting's huge, so just don't worry about that at all. Every week we ask these questions, and guys from all over the planet are on here, and they all give that answer and others. Okay, Kenniel, what are you saying?
So for me, I would say be disciplined. Know and understand what it takes to take it to a next level. Do the work when no one is watching, right? Not just do it when you're in practice, but when you're outside practice, when you're training, by yourself. Be committed. Be committed to whatever is it that you want to do. If you want to play in a Division I college, if you want to play after college, it's going to take a lot of discipline and a lot of commitment.
Thanks, Kimmy. I'm going to go back and forth between calling him Kenniel and Kimmy because everybody calls him Kimmy. So that's why. Don't get confused. Norman, what about you?
I mean, like, everyone says on there, I like to always talk about setting my goals. Players got to set the goals, see if they can reach them. And then you got to play with the love of the game. I've always loved the game. Granby Street, MLK, no matter where I played. Got to love the game. And be passionate, just be passionate, that always driven me all the time. I mean, we played anywhere and everywhere. You know that, right, Doc? Right? Yeah. Yes, sir. The good old days, man. That's so right,
You and Doc are about the same age. How many years did you play together because you were that close in age for a long time?
Well, Norman's my senior. He's like 30 years older than me.
I don't believe that.
I'm 3 years older than Doc.
2 years? Okay.
We've been playing together since, I was like 9 years old. So I always looked up to Norman. I used to hop the fence, jump over fence, go play in his backyard.
He used to jump over and wear high top sneakers. I'm like, you can't be playing with that stuff on, man.
His team was Brazil. We were Italy. The winner got to eat pears out of the tree in his backyard. Stones for the goal. I always looked up to him and his brothers. So we've been playing together for forever.
That always helps too, doesn't it? That helps.
Oh yeah, it helps a lot. It does.
I think if I can throw this in there, just having seen a million games at Granby Street and played in a lot of pickup games before that league even started, I think one of the things that we miss in youth soccer a little bit here that you guys all experienced and we did is playing with older guys.
Yes.
When you're young. Playing with older guys is really important for your development. If you want to expound on that, any good experiences you got that way?
Yeah. Okay. Anyone?
Yeah, I'll let Kenny. Yeah.
Yeah. No, for me, I've been, my entire life I've been playing with older guys. Even when I was in Jamaica, I remember in Jamaica I wasn't allowed to play with my age group. Unless it's more in a structured environment. But if I'm playing in my community, I wouldn't play with my age group. I would always play with older guys. And it's the same when I moved here to the States in Hartford. I've been playing in the corner league at Granby Street for, I think I was like 15, 16 when I just came from Jamaica. And the corner league, it's a very physical league. It's tough. So I think that definitely helped my development. And obviously, I played at Oakwood shortly after that, and University of Hartford, and so on. But yeah, it's very important for young players to play with older players. I think because it puts it puts you in perspective, because sometimes you think that, you're so good, you play with your age group, but when you play against the older guys, it's a whole different story. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I would definitely recommend that.
Yeah, I was always one of the youngest kids on Granby Street. What an experience, So being able to run by people your age, and then all of a sudden, there's a 26-year-old man, 30-year-old man sitting across from you, and you're not faster than him. Now you got to try to figure that out, and that was, that was a great experience, a humbling experience a lot of time, but it was a great experience, And I remember when I went to college to play, and there was this guy center back trying to rattle me, and I was like, man, I played in corner league. You can't rattle me. I had guys trying to break my legs. You can't rattle me. So, but yeah, what an experience, man. And Oakwood gave me an opportunity to play up as well. Dave and Rick were really good about that stuff too. So,
I got one more story to add to that. You guys probably remember Lyle Yorks graduated from E.O. Smith in 1988. His last fall was 1987. And his next door neighbor was a kid named Kenny Hall. And they didn't even play together at E.O. Smith, but Kenny Hall was like 4 years older and a great center back for our teams, before Lyle showed up there. So every day in Kenny Hall's front yard and backyard, Lyle played against a very good defender who was like 4 years older than him.
Right.
And I think that helped a lot. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah, we played in the corner league. I think we first started playing in the corner league when I was 15 and Doc was 12. Yeah. So yeah, you grow up in the corner league. You really grow up. I got stitches to prove it. Yeah. I got stitches to prove it. Yeah. We learn humble also. We respect Granby Street, always.
Yeah.
Granby Street that grew us.
So many great players came through there. It was amazing, And we were lucky, I was coaching at Hartford for a lot of that time, University of Hartford. So the guys that were around in the summer, like taking a course or something, we got them in the league.
Yeah.
And they were good players. But I'll tell you what, they had an adjustment period.
Yeah.
And when they came back in the fall, they were a lot better than they were when they left in the spring.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You learn a lot, and then you're humble.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And tell us a little bit about playing together at Salem State University. I remember how good they were in those days. So you guys were both, on the field at the same time for what, 3 seasons?
Not quite.
No.
Oh yeah, because you're younger. That's right.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So when I came up to Salem, I was coming from Southern Connecticut, and I wasn't released that first year to play at Salem State. So I sat and watched Norman play, and that was the year Norman was an All-American. So we actually didn't have the pleasure of playing together at Salem State.
Oh, I see. Okay.
This is a very interesting. I'm sorry, Hillary Fouts. I'm assuming she plays for you guys, for you, Doc.
Yeah, Hillary is
her daughter.
Is one of our managers.
Okay, this is a great comment that she wrote. You guys were all lucky to grow at a time without phones, video games, and parents overscheduling. Your soccer beginnings was an organic beginning. And that's a great point. That's a big problem today for kids, I think. They have so many, electronic distractions. Yep. I was watching a game in there's an indoor place near Hull, Massachusetts, and I was watching a girls' tournament two winters ago, recruiting for Thomas College women, and I jokingly said to one of the gals, she was on her phone in between games. I said, "Hey, I heard there's going to be a new rule. They're going to let you have your phones on the field." Like, really? She was all excited about that.
Wow.
I said, "No, not really."
Oh my goodness.
Go ahead, John.
Jim, you want to talk about you and Kenniel at Hartford?
Yeah, a little bit. I was just going to ask Kenniel. I wish and I think I've said this to Kenniel. You know, college teams, like any other program, they have their ups and downs, and I wish Kenniel was 2 or 3 years older, because if we'd have had him when we were very good in the mid to late 90s, we might have won the national championship the one year, because we were missing that one midfield general, you know. And he came in, and I remember the Israeli guys 10 minutes into we scrimmaged the first night, of course, and Guy Premor came over to me and he goes, "Why didn't you bring him 2 years ago?" You know, he was made out of Weaver. You know, he couldn't come because he was lighting it up. You know, and just simple, doing the right thing every time. So that was really fun to watch. But Kenniel, tell us a little bit about what you're doing now with the club that you started, the academy that you started.
Yeah, so Hartford Lions Soccer Academy, we started in 2019, so roughly 2 years now. Like I previously said, it's a nonprofit youth soccer organization that caters to kids, boys and girls in the greater Hartford area. We started, we work with kids as young as 3 up until like 14, 15. We also have a women's league, and that league is called the Lioness League. We did that last summer. We had roughly 6 teams. We're hoping to do it again this summer, maybe spring into summer. The Lioness League is very close to my heart because we never really had a women's league in this area. And it's obviously long overdue. So the response has been very, very positive. So, we're definitely planning on doing that again. We're Hartford Lions Soccer Academy. It's more than soccer. We do a lot with our family, the parents. We actually do a lot of seminars. We do a lot of off the field activities with the kids. So whether it's after school programs, whether it's homework programs. As far as the families go, we also do financial literacy seminars. Yesterday we had our community forum series. We were discussing taxes and all that good stuff. So we try to do a little bit more than just soccer. Because soccer is there. That's our passion. Obviously, we love giving back to the community. We love coaching the kids. But I think for me personally, I want to do a little bit more. I want the kids to be involved in their community. I want them to feel proud of being a part of the Hartford Lions Soccer Academy. So we try to do a little bit more than just soccer.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I saw that about the chess. On Facebook. That's pretty cool. Guy Reynolds, Doc, he says, "Jim, please say hi to Doc and let him know about our connection. He's a great coach." Guy Reynolds played for me at Thomas College. I turned him into a goalkeeper. He was a striker, and his freshman year, he scored 1 goal. He led the Connecticut Double L in scoring his senior year. They won the state championship at Wyndham, and he was a good striker, but he wasn't a prolific scorer. And my goalkeeper didn't show up the next year, and Guy was just a soccer junkie. And I said, "You're now our goalkeeper." And they were like, "Oh my God." And he still to this day has the single season record for most shutouts. And we were New England champs that year. Yeah. So he says hello. It was his indoor place where I told the girl about they're going to allow the cell phones on the field.
Yeah, we coach against each other often. It's always a great experience. Great guy, always good to the kids. Always enjoy the experience with him on Sundays.
Yeah.
And Guy played with Mansfield Soccer Club, even though he was at Wyndham High. He played with all our guys in the summer on Mansfield Soccer Club.
Yeah, he's a passionate soccer guy, man.
Yeah.
Great guy. Give you the shirt off his back.
Yeah.
Okay, so Norman, tell us about a little bit about I know about NEFC, and I know it's a great club. Tell us a little bit about your role there, and I know you mentioned the other day you're coaching a couple of teams, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm coaching quite a few teams, which is fun. The boys director, Doc's DOC. I coach 4 teams. I coach U9, U13, U14, and a U18 and 19 girls team. I like the idea of coaching girls and boys because I learned to balance after a while. It's kind of not easy. Believe me, it's not easy. You could ask Doc. But once you get the grasp of it, it's easier, I wanted to ask Kenniel, what age groups do you coach, or what age groups your club have, boys?
So we start from 3 to 14. The 3 to 5 ages, 3 to 5, they're a part of the Junior Alliance program, and 6 to 14, it's more of a older age group.
Okay, all right.
Well, yeah,
And this is boys and girls.
Yeah.
We definitely will be in touch after this.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I got to interrupt again. Hillary wants to know if Norm or Kenniel ever spoke patois when they're playing, so the other players wouldn't know what you're talking about.
For me,
I haven't done that.
That's all I speak on the field.
Yeah, go ahead. Give us some right now.
I'm sorry, Jimmy. I didn't hear you.
You said,
Pass me the ball now. Pass me the ball now.
Yeah. I know when I played back in 1970 to 76, I'd go there most nights in the summer. I had no idea what those guys were saying.
Most of them was probably swears. What a bumbuckler.
Yeah.
We would go to other cities and play. We go to New York. We go to Philly, play against other Jamaican teams. We went to a tournament in Philly.
Oh yeah.
In the finals, we went in PKs, and all of a sudden the lights went out.
True story.
Cars and we were gone.
True story. The lights cut off. They didn't like us winning, especially coming all the way down from Hartford. Up from Hartford down there. So they didn't like that because they had a favorite team over there to win the tournament. So it was funny.
Yeah.
Jim, do you remember the game we played at Brown? It went off right during the game. I think they didn't like how it was going at the time.
Lenny Santiris has a breakaway. It's the first night game ever at Brown, and I think we were both ranked in the top 5 in the country. And Lenny's got a breakaway, and the freaking lights go out.
Did he score?
I'd have shot it.
He hit the side channel, right, Jim?
Okay. My wife wants to know, why are you called Doc?
That's an interesting story. So nobody in Connecticut knows me as Doc. I got that when I came up to Massachusetts. I got that from Nick Padovani, the Salem State coach.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, interesting story. So we used to do camps over the summer. Norman and I, Viking soccer camps, and Coach used to call me the soccer doctor.
Oh, okay.
So he used to tell the kids that there wasn't a problem on the field that I couldn't solve. So he called me the soccer doctor. Nice. And then it became the doctor, and then it became Doc, and now everybody calls me Doc.
Well, I call you Doc because of Guy Reynolds. He calls you Doc.
Right. And I always know who I'm dealing with by the name I hear. I hear Dushawne, it's usually a classmate. I hear Doc. And then in Hartford, everybody calls me Booby. That's my nickname growing up on Granby Street. Yeah. So depending on where you are, I got a couple of different names.
True.
Yeah.
Dushawne, tell us a little about your professional experiences after college at Salem State, because you had about 4 different teams on your little bio there.
Yeah. So I was actually playing on on a Massachusetts men's team right out of college. And we were scrimmaging the Boston Bulldogs, who John Kerr was running at the time,
Oh, yeah.
and Stevie Nickel, England legend.
Yeah.
And I had a really good game against them, scored a few goals. And like 2 weeks later, I just decided to join that team and, played there for a few years, came back home, played with Connecticut for a season, spent several seasons up in New Hampshire with Jim Dedeus and the Phantoms, a lot of great guys. And then just through playing, I had this connection with, I played on like 5 teams. I played in Chelsea in the Spanish league. I play in the Laza League.
Mm-hmm.
I was playing on all these different teams, and I played for this team called Juventus, a local team here in Massachusetts. And the guy who ran it was from Italy, and said, "You know what? You should come to Italy with me." And I went over and I played with this team for 6 months. I get there, and the Italians, they're so nice. So I get there, you go, you have dinner, you meet a group of people, they invite you to their house, you have dinner with them the next night, and it just kept going. I gained 25 pounds in 2 weeks before I even started playing.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. Oh.
It was unbelievable. I'm in downtown Avellino, and I meet the owner. He's got a newspaper in front of his face, and he doesn't say anything for 45 minutes. He takes down his newspaper. He's smoking a cigarette, and he goes, in Italian, he goes, "So, does he run like a jaguar?" And that's all he said to me. All he said to me. But man, unbelievable experience. They're so passionate about the game. Great people. Treated me really well, and I'll never forget that experience.
Yeah, there's this CNN show called Stanley Tucci Goes to Italy about food, and everybody looks so friendly over there when they're giving him his great recipes all over Italy.
Yeah, always 6 courses.
Jim, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask a little bit about your futsal on Friday nights. I saw something a couple years ago about it too. Is that kind of an open thing where anybody can come and play?
Yeah. I mean, it's we used to play at Buckley High in the gym. They didn't call it futsal then. We were just playing inside a gym. And like Norman, myself, and a couple other guys just been trying to like reinvent our childhood up here. Like thinking about all the things we would do. Club soccer has become this big business, and what's missing is just these little bit of opportunities to just show up and play and enjoy yourself without any direction from coaches, right? You just go play. You put your teams together and you go play. So that's what we do on Friday nights, So we spread out. Here's 4 teams. I always set it up like a mini little tournament, and we always take pictures of the winners in the end because we want them to know, at the end of the day, there's a winner and a loser. And, we reward the winners with a little photo. It's just fun. I love being there. And all I do is set up the goals and watch, because that's what the coaches did for us back in the day, right? Wasn't a whole lot of this and that. It was just all these opportunities to play. So that's what we do on Fridays.
That's fantastic. I love to see more of that going around. Yeah. There's a guy on Facebook. I'm just a Facebook friend with him. His name's Connie. He's a Greek American guy, and he is always preaching about we need to build, 500,000 futsal courts in this country and just let them play. And he's actually the futsal coach, the national team futsal coach for Trinidad and Tobago right now. It's a great game. We played it a lot. We didn't know it was called futsal.
Right.
We played at Buckley as well.
Right.
And we also played at the Noah Webster School gym, which is tiny, right on the West Hartford line there. And, we'd play like 3-a-side in there because that's about as big as you could play. And it was fantastic. And there would always be I think it was a Friday nights, and there'd be 15 guys there, and so the winner stayed on, and in the end, you battled because you didn't want to go off.
That was Weaver High too. Weaver High indoor. Winner stays. Like the kids, they never experienced that. I remember like one of the first times I went and played in the suburbs, and it was like a rotation. I was like, "What do you mean we haven't lost?
Exactly. Why am I getting off?
No, you have to get us off. We stay here, we play all night until you beat us. What are you talking about? Rotation."
Well, go ahead, John.
That's a great philosophy. Like for the last 20 years, I coached high school. We always practiced Saturday morning, and often it followed a Friday game. And I just started getting into organizing a micro soccer tournament every Saturday morning for the teams. And we try to make the teams as fair as possible. I had this old trophy that I found in my father's basement that we started giving to the winners, every Saturday. And I also started bringing in all my old E.O. Smith stuff at the end of my career because I had so much stuff to give prizes. But again, I wasn't coaching, but it was very, very competitive and, good soccer experience just because it was a competition that everybody enjoyed.
This I'm going to interrupt. This comment from Helder Guedes. He's a Portuguese guy, lives in, I think he lives in Parkville section of Hartford. This guy knows as much about soccer in Hartford as anybody, and he's here thanking you guys for your work, and he remembers the good games the Hartford Cavaliers played in the Sunday League, and there was another team called the Abyssinian Lions. I remember those. They were mostly Rastamen, and that was a heck of a team as well.
Lions.
Yeah,
respect.
This was a while ago. This would have been in the 70s, and I hurt my knee my last game at college, so I started reffing, so I used to ref at Granby Street for almost every one of those guys' games because I knew all the guys, and so the head ref always sent me because he knew that I was comfortable there, and these guys were funny. They go, "You again? Jeez, get out of here, But we had a good time.
So Jim, we usually ask them talk about any advice for people who want to coach. Yeah. And it seems like you guys have all done well with coaching. What I could start with you, Dushawne. What sort of clicked with you at the beginning of your coaching career, or when did you decide that you were going to try to at least make a partial living out of coaching soccer, which is not easy to do?
Yeah. Well, first getting into coaching was really, I had all these different jobs, and every time I give somebody my resume, they'd say, "Man, you've done a lot of soccer, haven't you?" So I was like, you know what? You're right. What am I doing? So I decided, let me go for this and let me become a coach. But really, all the people, the Lorenzos, the Patricks of the world, all these people, Andrew Jermaine, these guys were some of the most important people in my life growing up. Dave and Rick at Oakwood. The list goes on. And I don't remember a lot of the games. I just remember, what they did for me. And so I just wanted to pay it forward, really, and to be there for the kids that I was coaching. So, like I said, biggest role models in my life were soccer guys. And so I just wanted to do that for kids in this area as well.
Before we go on to the other two, I don't remember who won in 1990, and I know you guys had a hell of a team. Did you beat us that fall?
I think the first game we won 4-2.
Wow.
I only remember that because that was my first game, and we were playing at Avon at Fisher Meadows. I
Yeah.
scored 2 in that game. And I think we played again later in the season at your place and tied 1-1.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
You got bragging rights. That's good. So yeah, you guys maybe answered the same question. What clicked to begin your coaching careers, sort of? Either one. Norman, you want to go? Yeah.
I think I was playing at Salem State. Yeah, I was playing at Salem State, and I had a U11 team, boys team, and they used to come watch me play. And I thought that was, that was really nice because they would give me my feedback when I would see them at practice or games.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, you know what? I think I really like coaching. I think I really like these kids. They offer a lot, and I'm going to learn a lot from them. I'm passionate, but as a coach, I would say, patience is important. Patience is important. So, sometimes you get wrapped up because all you guys you played the game, so you play with your heart in your sleeve. So but I've had some great coaches, but the ones I remember stick out. And I'm always mentioning those. Stewart, Patrick, Andrew Jermaine, like he said, all those guys gave me something, a little something. Even Padovani gave me something. So it's just, me remembering the coaches that really pushed me and really made me be passionate about the game and love the game.
Yeah.
You got to love the game.
Absolutely.
That's for sure.
So for me, it started when I was having to like coach Jim Adams in the summer camp, my freshman and sophomore year, and for me that was a good experience because you do learn a lot. Even though you're coaching the kids, you actually learn a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
And shortly after college, maybe a couple of years after, I would work with a small group of players, younger players. I would say maybe 12 to 14, 15, just to prepare them for the high school season. And I'm actually still doing that right now. And I really enjoyed just giving back, sharing my experiences with them. And they learn a lot, and I think I learned even more too. Because you tend to learn a lot more about yourself when you're working with kids, and just to see the way they look up to you. And so you have to be careful that your wording and how you encourage them, but at the same time you have to also be firm. But I would say it started with working with Jim Evans at his summer camps.
Yeah, those were good times.
Yeah.
To travel around the state and also go up
Yes.
to Maine and do camps. And
Yep. I remember that.
Jimmy and Easton Wilson,
Mhm.
Ryan Walker came along a
Ryan
few
Walker,
times.
Yep.
And the Israeli guys, Asaf and his brother Alon and Guy. So we had a good time. And I'll tell you, those kids were lucky. They had top, not only players, they were top players, but just great young men and just great role models for these kids. So that was really good. And one of the interesting things, we were talking with Patrick last week. I've had the opportunity to help out with the clinics and camps, at Granby Street, and I didn't help out Kimmy this past fall because I was afraid because of the pandemic. But I'm getting my vaccine next month, so I'll be down there next summer. But it's one of the good things about being old. I get to get a vaccine pretty soon. So anyway.
That's mine.
But with Patrick, so I'm working with remember, Kimmy, that you guys always had me go with the 3 and 4 year olds,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
and that was fine by me. So this one little girl's like crying and hanging on my leg, and it was Patrick's granddaughter.
Oh
so
my God.
I played with Patrick, and knew him from when he came from Jamaica, and now here I am coaching his granddaughter all these years later. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Flipper.
Yeah, you guys have that connection with all these other coaches and players that Jim and I had too. And with Jim and I, it was like Lenny Santiras and Franz Innocent and Austin Daniels and Timmy Hunter. But I'll tell you, coaching with Jim to me was always the best because we just did little 3-hour camps all in Avon and in Berlin and all kinds of places. And it was just, you learn a lot from your friends, and I learned a lot from Jim, that's for sure.
Well, we played we had the kids play a lot of 1-on-1 and a lot of 3-on-3. That's what we did with these little kids. And they got so good by the end of the week just doing that. We didn't fool around with any of the tag games or any of that stuff. We had them playing football the whole time. And it was great, Yeah. Okay, so let's we've covered the bases here, and it's been really good. What do you see in your future, guys? Norman, why don't you go first? Are you happy? I don't want you to get in trouble with NEFC. You seem pretty happy where you are. You're gonna keep going?
I'm gonna keep going. I'm happy where I'm at right now. I'm working with some great people, my friends, all my friends.
Beautiful.
Which is great, Beautiful.
Going
to work with these guys that you hung around with and went to school with, and Doc, of course, since he was 9 years old. So that's what I'm saying. That connection we have.
Guy Reynolds has a question. He butchered the guy's name, but he wanted to know if you guys played with Alvaro Ibanez at Salem State.
He was before us.
Yeah.
Great player.
He was. We talked the other day about him. He when we played that game I was telling you about, we almost won the game. They were way better, but so we're playing on the grass. It was grass then, and it was a night game, so it was the grass was wet, and he was playing left wing, and our right back it turned out to be a really good player for us, but it was his first year, and he was wearing those Beckenbauer turf shoes on wet grass, trying to mark Alvaro Ibanez. Imagine how that went. He spun him like a top, So at halftime, I'm going crazy at the guy because he didn't bring any other boots with him.
Right.
And I'm like, you got to bring 3. You got to bring, molded screw-ins and flats, and
Crutch.
Okay.
Hey, Jim, did he walk off with crutches? Wow. Alvaro was a great player. He was a good player. Very good player.
It was. They had a great team. They had some, if I recall, they had some good Swedish guys in the back of the team.
Yep.
And the whole team was good. The whole team was good.
Michael Person. Yeah.
Michael Person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ali Kaba. Yeah. That's some good players. Nick was always bringing great players. He always brought in some talent.
Oh yeah. I finally got to beat him once. I was coaching at Hartford and he was still at Salem. We played him in the spring tournament at Holy Cross.
Yeah.
And I had it was a spring in Worcester.
Yep.
And he and his assistant, it was funny because I guess he wasn't allowed, D3 had these rules, right?
So couldn't coach.
So they were way over on the other side, watching from a distance, and it was because he wasn't supposed to be there,
Right.
But we finally beat him in a game that didn't matter.
Did any of you guys play with or against Al Granger? He played at Hartford Public.
Played with Al at Oakwood.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, because I just remember he could hit a long ball, and then they had 2 Puerto Rican brothers, Martinez brothers.
Yeah.
And so it was a very difficult, and Steve Kasoy was the coach, right? So it was very difficult to play against them because Al Granger could deliver that, 40 or 50 yard pass, and those guys could stretch you out and they could dribble. And I think in the regular season they beat us 3-1 or 4-1, and that was the combination that killed us. I think they did very well in the state tournament that year too.
Yeah, Al Granger, Hoy Lee, Ashton.
Oh, okay.
It's a bomb squad.
Yeah, Al was a man.
Yeah, he was big. He was big and solid. Yeah. Did he play in college?
Yeah. Didn't he? Where did Al play?
He went to Ulster Community.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's funny. My boss at Thomas, I'm the assistant coach. Al's name just came up yesterday because Al and Chris played together at Ulster. And Al was actually injured most of the time. He didn't get to play very much.
Right.
But he was a big, strong guy with a bit of skill too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, when he's in shape.
Yeah.
So this is a good one. Guys trying to get you guys mad at each other. Foreman, he can coach at Galway Rovers. Just don't tell Doc.
One thing Hartford teaches you is loyalty.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
And this is nice. Hillary says personality is huge, and when we see our NEFC coaches laughing and joking in between the serious stuff, it's infectious environment that kids and parents appreciate being around. That's so true. I've coached a bit of club, but mostly I've been a college coach my whole life since I started in '77, the year I graduated from UConn, and I've been a college coach ever since. And so I've experienced the club game in that manner, going recruiting, to showcases and just showing up, being invited in and showing. And I tell you, I'm not a big fan, but when I went to NEFC's, I can't remember the name of the town, down by Fall River.
Taunton? No, not Taunton.
Taunton, I think.
Yeah, Taunton.
Yeah.
I went there a few years ago, and NEFC was running the showcase.
Right.
And the vibe was so different than most of the showcases I go to. The parents weren't nuts. It was just for the kids. It was just for the kids to play, to be seen.
Right.
And it was really nice because I've been at so many all over the country that are just crazy. Parents going nuts, coaches going nuts. And the worst one is when you get invited to a showcase, right? And you show up and there's a booklet and all the information's incorrect. The wrong jersey numbers,
Right.
the wrong names. These kids' parents are paying a lot of money.
That's right.
What are you selling them? Hey, you're going to get looked at. So we're getting the wrong information. We don't know these kids,
Right.
So I really appreciated going to that showcase. It was such an enjoyable weekend. And in fact, a couple times coaches from your club who didn't know me, they saw me in between games and said, so is there anyone in particular you're looking at? And I would tell them, they go, okay, I'll start her next game. I wasn't going to, but I'm going to start her next game because I want you to see her. And that's really good, but it's not normal.
Yeah, you're right.
You're right.
Club coaches love to win, and a lot by any means, which is unfortunate, but this game that we're in, it's all about relationships. That's all it is. And if you foster the right ones, we'll be doing it for a long time.
Helder's throwing in Junior Salmon's name. You guys know Junior?
Oh man,
what a player!
Junior Salmon, of course.
So that was one of the guys we looked up to.
Yeah,
he was older than us. University of Hartford.
I saw him.
Tall and fast and good.
Smooth.
I saw him at a game at U of H against Southern when Southern was the best D2 in New England, and Hartford was maybe they were D2 then. They were maybe 4th or 5th. They drew 3-3 because Junior scored 3 goals. And they had no business drawing that match, but they couldn't deal with them, Right.
So you imagine, you're like 13 years old, and then, you watch this guy play at the college level, and then all of a sudden, you're marking him or you're on the field with him at Granby Street. That's what
Corner
Granby
league.
Street did. It's like, Johnny DeBrito and, all these unbelievable guys. Everybody came through there.
Chris Wright, all those guys.
Yeah, Redhead. Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of great players.
Yeah.
But we were pretty lucky to have access to all the UConn and University of Hartford legends.
Well, we used to play on Hellenic because Lenny Sintiris is Greek, and we played at UConn with him, and we were playing Waterbury Ports, and Pedro de Brito had just come from Portugal, and Johnny's older brother.
Yeah.
And we always had arguments, the Southern and the UConn guys, who was better. It don't matter. They were both very good. But Pedro was better, by the way. But
Oh, yeah.
so we told Pedro went to high school. He didn't have a high school soccer team. So he was playing for the Waterbury Ports. And soon as we played the game, we got to Maroney and said, you got to get this kid out of Waterbury. He's unbelievable. And, not many people know about him. It was different. It was different times back then.
Right.
Jim, did he already have Carlos there at UConn?
Yeah, Carlos was already there, so he knew.
Yeah.
He knew about him already. He goes, yeah, don't worry about it. I got it.
Yeah, Johnny was why I went to Southern Connecticut. My recruiting trip, I stayed with him, and we had a heart-to-heart there, and he was the reason why I went there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
When Pedro, after college, the North American Soccer League was going on, and they had this experiment. There was a team called Team America. It was the U.S. national team, and they were a team in the North American Soccer League, and they played out of Washington, D.C., and I was coaching at George Mason at the time. So I got to know Pedro really well at that time. Right. And John would come and visit him. John was 12 years old at that time. He would come and visit him, and we would play just pickup games. And John was 12 playing against these guys, and he could hold his own.
Right. A lot of great ones. I mean, Coach John, I mean, you had 2 U.S. national team players on your high school team.
I know.
That was just unfair.
And they went to China in an international tournament, yeah. And then Kurt Anolfo played with Timmy and Lyle on an under-21 team, too.
Right.
That was pretty incredible.
So Kenniel, the what's going on in the North End, now there's two organizations instead of one, correct? And that's normal. That those things happen. There's a split. It was time for a split because you're not doing the exact same thing as the development league is doing, correct? I mean, they weren't doing anything for women as far as I knew.
Yes, so that's correct. Yes, I was a part of HPDL, and we part ways, and I started Hartford Lions Soccer Academy. And I mean, it's different. We do some of the stuff that we do are similar, but as far as the Lioness League goes, there's no women's league in that area at all. So we're very, very proud of that league, and we're very excited. So yeah.
That's great. It's funny, back in it was 77, 78. My wife loved soccer. She's Italian, but she had no place to play. Yeah. And so us and another couple started the Connecticut Women's Soccer League. And it started off with one team. And it was Lou Magno was the coach. I was helping him out. But we ended up with like 30 women on this team, and we had no one to play against. So I said, wait a minute, why don't we take half the team and I'll start a team and we'll have a league, That's how it started,
Right.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah. So
and there was a lot of good players to start playing then too, weren't there?
Yeah.
For the UConn players,
Yeah. Okay, well, listen, I knew this would happen. We're out of time. This could go on forever. And I guys, you have no idea how much I love this show, because to hear what people are doing and to go back and go over the history just means a lot to me, especially Granby Street, because if it wasn't for Granby, my life is football. You know, I got to play at UConn and play all the time on a very good team. And my high school team won like 4 games in 4 years, you know, and the only reason I got to play was because I was playing with the Jamaicans every night in the summer. And college didn't scare me one bit, you know, so I owe a lot to that community, and I've been lucky to come back and coach at University of Hartford and to have numerous guys come and play for us. And it's no coincidence that the last time Hartford won the league championship was the last time we had a bunch of Jamaicans from Hartford on the team. You know? And you know, for some reason now, and I'm not knocking them, but they don't seem to be doing that much anymore. You know, talk about, you know, having guys literally in your own backyard that are really good players and really great guys, you know. So for me, it's been really fun to talk to you guys and to talk to Patrick and Bishop last week. Brings back a lot of great memories, and I'm looking forward to helping you out at your camp this summer. Once I get that jab in the arm, I'm all set to go. You know?
Absolutely, you're always welcome, Coach.
Yeah, I just wanted to say real quick, just thank you guys for everything that you've done for the game, in and around Connecticut, Hartford, New England. I mean, you guys are legends. We appreciate everything, and this show is fantastic. And it's just a real pleasure to talk to you guys again. So thank you very much.
It's a pleasure to have you guys on. Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks for having me, guys. Coach?
Yeah.
All right.
Also, for me, I just want to say thank you, because Jimmy, obviously, you're the one who believed in me and gave me an opportunity to play at the University of Hartford. And for that, I will always be grateful. So thank you, and thank you for having me on the show.
You're welcome.
Jim's the driving force of this show.
Yes, he is.
It's going well. Yep.
Not a track and field guy, but now I'm watching Jim on track and field.
I'm the historian of the group. We got a really good sprint coach and a really good weight coach, and then we got me. You know, like I tell you, yeah, I actually was a half mile. I actually ran the 800 and the 400, and they look at me like, no way.
Coach John, real quick,